Hello and welcome to another episode of the Tejano Traveler. Today we are taking a trip along the Texas Gulf Trail, starting from Boca Chica in South Texas all the way to where it meets in Louisiana. So you can see everything there is to do along this Texas Gulf Coast, starting with Boca Chica, where you can see the mouth of the Rio Grande. Right after that, you can head to Port Isabel, Texas, which is a pretty nice historic town with a light tower and a cool museum that you can check out so you can find out more about the area. You can find out how it started and how it began, and then take a trip on the causeway to reach South Padre Island, which is named after a priest who originally owned the area. And here, there's plenty of things to do. You get your typical beach stuff, your souvenir shops, your seafood. It's pretty great place to go and see some sun, but I like it more because I love seeing birds. Birds are my life. So I come here and I see the birds and I'm happy. So definitely check that out. And then between there and Corpus, there isn't much to do unless you stop at Laguna Atascosa National Wildlife Refuge, which is just a big refuge of stuff. And then you finally hit Corpus Christi about 3.5 hours later. Corpus Christi is the jewel on the sea, jewel on the bay. You get to see the Selena statue as long and other places. It was the birthplace of Whataburger, so I like to stop at the two-story Whataburger and give my thanks. And then you can also go to North Beach, which is the touristy beach. People hate it, but I kind of love it for its all touristy things. And then there's plenty of museums, all pretty much next to each other, like the Art Museum and the Science and History Museum and the Asian Museum. So you get to learn a lot about the history of the area and about other cultures around the world. So you can take a break from all the sun and surf and get to learn a little bit about the world and about Texas. So it's always good. Plus, they got this alligator here. You should also visit the Texas State Aquarium, which focuses on the animals and life forms that live on the Gulf, even though this sloth doesn't live there. But you can see some sharks and dolphins, which is pretty cool. And then I'm sure you can't avoid the sight of it, but the U.S. Lexington is there. Go check it out, see some planes, see how life was like on a battleship on the aircraft carrier. So check it out. And then we have Padre Island National Seashore, which is the last party of the two Padre Islands. We have the north and south. So the north side is more about nature and scenic vistas and just relaxing on the beach. The other one is more for partying. I prefer this one because it's nicer. Then, of course, we have Mustang Island, which is one of the most popular parks in the Texas system. You get to come here, you can walk out pretty far into the ocean from here. And then right next to that is Port Aransas. There's plenty to do in Port Aransas, whether it's sun, surf, history, seafood, science, fishing, everything. You can find it here. It's a cool little resort town. People love coming here and renting out a bungalow and just seeing the sun and sea and seafood and birds, doing some shopping. And if you get a chance to take the Red Dragon boat cruise, it's pretty fun. I enjoyed it a lot. You get to go out into the Gulf and experience it a bit. And then you take the ferry, which takes you across to the other side, and you're able to head to Rockport. Rockport is also a small little beach town. It's got its own little beach areas, plus its own little museums that focus on the history of the area. There's going to be a lot of history along the Gulf Coast, so be prepared for that. It's not just beaches and fun. There's definitely a lot to learn. We have the Fulton Mansion State Historic Site, which preserves a beautiful mansion, and then Goose Island State Park, where people love coming to fish. It's a great place for fishing and seeing some of the beaches. And it's also the place where you can find the big tree, which is the biggest oak tree in Texas. And then right next to it is the Aransas National Wildlife Refuge, and you can come here, take a look at it, enjoy some of the wildlife. Also, we have the LaSalle Monument and a series of national wildlife reserves which focus on this coastal area. It's swampy, it's brackish, it's perfect for a lot of these birds that depend on animals like that. There's also a lot of alligators along the area, so you'll be seeing more and more of them. Also, more bugs and mosquitoes. But that was Big Boggy, and then we have Saint Bernard. They're all right next to each other. There's a series of three of them that are all right next to each other, and they all protect the estuaries. And it's a pretty cool place because you think there's nothing there, but surprise, there's a lot of stuff there because nature is everywhere along the Gulf Coast. And then we have the coastal bend areas, which is the Port Lavaca area here. You have a lot of beaches, a lot of little communities that serve the people who want to go out there into the beach, the fishing industry, and all of that. Plus, there's a lot of history and nature to do here. Then I accidentally ended up at the mouth of the Colorado River, which is always weird. You also see the Sabine Pass statue in Angleton, and then finally you arrive in Galveston. Galveston is one of the best cities to visit here in Texas. It's got a lot to do. It's where a lot of the cruise ships depart from, so it's got a big tourist industry. There's a Moody Mansions. There's a Moody Center where they have pyramids with aquariums and rainforests in the inside. There's plenty of mansions. There's the Elisa Tall Tree. There's the Ocean Star Oil Rig Museum, which I ended up learning a lot at. I didn't know they were so involved. And then to take the ferry over to check out Fort Austin and see some of the battleships and submarines that they have preserved in the area. And then you can't go wrong with visiting Galveston Island State Park, which has grasses. I love grasses, plus beachy areas. It's a cool place to visit and enjoy some of the sun and some of the marshes. So it's pretty cool. Now we're heading up towards the northern side. Here we have Anahuac National Wildlife Reserve. We're going to see another series of reserves, along with McFadden National Wildlife Reserve, which is a drivable park, and it shows you the intercoastal waterway. I love seeing these big, huge ships. And then Searim State Park, which is the last state park along the shore, which makes it the last accessible point on the Texas Gulf Coast. Then we have Texas Point National Wildlife Reserve, which is full of alligators. You have to walk quietly or else they jump right into the water. But they're there. It's cool, it's creepy, it's dangerous, it's awesome. And then take a little break and go to Port Arthur for the Museum of the Gulf Coast. Get to learn a bit about the area, about the refinery, about the discovery, and about all the great music that comes from the area. And then we'll end up with the Sabine Pass Battlefield State Historic Site. This is a Civil War site where the Confederacy defeated the Union as they were trying to come in. And then finally, you end up on the most southeastern border of Texas, which is awesome. I love being there. Anyways, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.